I'm Scott L. Miller. This is Sam IT. Today we're doing something very exciting. Victor Truong asked me, and other people have mentioned it over the years. We've been doing this channel for about 7 years. I've been in IT and software engineering for 33 years, and a lot of times this has come up over those years. Could I make a series of videos, obviously a long program of videos, to take someone through the entire process of getting into IT? That is an overwhelming undertaking. I don't know anyone who's ever done that as a singular thing before. This is something that universities attempt to tackle and never really do. And we're going to give it a try. This is a really big project, but also one I'm really passionate about. I have taught K-12. I've taught and lectured at university. I have been through certification programs. I've worked as a mentor throughout different parts of the industry, and I have been training others since the early 1990s. So this is something that I'm very passionate about. It's something I care a lot about, both as an industry and about individuals who are looking for education and career paths. And when I started in this industry, we had nothing. We had no guidance to give us a place to go, a place to get started and to branch out and to move on from one step to the next and find our way through the industry. We had to do that on our own. And I see that as a continuing gap that has lingered on, that nobody is addressing that. And for lots of logical reasons, it is a hard thing to tackle. But this is a place where it makes sense to do it. And it is something that I am passionate about. And so we are going to give it a try. And this is our welcome to and announcement of the Sam IT career training system. So previously, we've done a lot of different videos in a lot of different topics, and we jump around a lot. We're going to try to cover all that kind of stuff, both that way as we traditionally have. That's not going to go away, but we're also going to start follow in, we'll have links and stuff so you can get an organized path for someone looking to move through education in IT, not just learning independent little vignettes of IT, which is useful, and a lot of people need that, and that's what brings people to this channel initially. But having a career path where you can come here and say, these are the skills I need to learn, these are the career objectives I need to learn, this is what I need to understand to get to that next piece. There are so many gaps in our industry, and we're going to talk about a bit of that in this program and in our normal videos, that people have not been through programs like this, and it's not for lack of trying, but universities are not offering this education. They may claim to, in most cases they do not, but in some they claim to, and they have no idea. I have yet to ever encounter a university program that is taught by someone who would have been through this type of training. And they may not be aware that they are lacking so much foundation in the industry, because it is so easy to end up working for just a few companies and have such a myopic view of what the industry is like. And we're going to try to tackle a lot of that here. I want to create a method for finding the foundations of IT, understanding what we do as professionals, why we do it, why we're valuable, how we learn, how we advance, what makes sense, not just for IT professionals, but also for companies to interact with us as an industry, making everything better, giving us a foundation, as I said, a foundation for building careers upon. This is going to be hard, really hard. I don't know where this is going to take us, but this is something that I really care a lot about, and I hope you do too. So I'm going to be asking a lot of you. I really need help, not just in telling people that we're doing this, not just in linking and supporting the channel directly, not just buying me a coffee, which helps, but what I really need the most is for you to sit down and think and say, how do we do this? What information do we need? What is the path? What builds upon one thing and another? And really importantly, we need to teach fundamentals. We need to abstract and teach as things make sense, right? How computers work, what IT does, not how do you go into this specific application and find this button. Of course, we can talk about those things, but that is not an IT education. That is just a tactical button pushing memorization. Things you can look up in a manual, you can find that on a website, but core understanding, grokking the industry, knowing what you need to know to be a functional IT professional, that's what we want to tackle, and that's what's missing. You can find those other resources, but this we cannot. and it's worthwhile and it's valuable everywhere. This is not unique to the United States or Western Europe or Central America or Southeast Asia. Everybody can benefit from this. And so I want to tackle as much as possible. So I'm asking you guys, 1, subscribe to the channel and follow along. 2, give us likes, share on social media, do all those things to promote the channel. 3, get out there to places like mangolassi.it, which is being rebranded to republicofit.com, and sign up, participate, completely free. Just get in there and have conversations. We're going to post all the videos that we do here to have people talk about them so you can provide real-time feedback. Of course, you can comment and leave messages here on YouTube, but having that interactivity on a place like Mango Lassi makes a huge difference and is an important thing that we're going to be teaching, not just the technical things, not just the career things, but also how do you interact with your industry? How do you go out and find the resources that you need? All of that we're going to be teaching, and that is an aspect of that. All of that said, you have one homework assignment, assuming you are a student who has come here looking to begin the process of learning. As we start this, there is a certain amount of fundamental basic knowledge that is necessary to have under your belt before we get to learning more. And I'm going to do my best to try to start at the beginning and build up. But that beginning needs to be a certain place. And we expect today that you have access to a computer, that you've used computers. There is a free program on YouTube. It's from 1983. It was produced in Toronto. It's called Bits and Bytes. I have recommended this to every student, every mentee, anyone I've ever worked with. If there's any gaps in your knowledge about how computers work, this is the show to watch. It is simple. It is aimed at children. It is entertaining. It is designed to be funny, and it teaches better than any classroom I have ever been in, any certification process I've ever seen, any book I've ever read. It is the best because it is lighthearted and it goes back so far in time that it helps us abstract away all of the assumptions we've made since that time and lets us look at basic computers from long ago and understand how they actually work, why they do the things that they do then and today, and help us with seeing the natural progression of changes over time so that we can have an understanding that history is important. We're going to be touching on that as well throughout this program. And it gives us a really important insight into just how much they understood back then, all those years ago. That is 40 years that we're looking at. Amazingly, 40 years ago, so often people say, oh, they didn't used to know it'd be like it is today. That is not true. They knew. 40 years ago, they absolutely knew what computing was going to be like today within a really narrow cone of uncertainty. And we just now look back and say, no, they must not have known. Oh, they knew. And that they made all this material knowing how it was going to change in the future, laying down the path to make this make sense is incredibly educational and helps us understand why everything works the way that it does. We also are going to have to learn about the industry because we work within a set of vendors and products and how those interact and how market pressures play in, because as IT professionals, those things matter. But we're going to start by talking about what IT professionals are in our next video. But right now, your assignment is go watch Bits and Bytes. All of the episodes, this can be done in a single afternoon or do it over a period of a week, whatever. If you want to do it, if you're an adult, do it with your kids. If you're kids, do it with an adult. Find someone to do it with. Go get a cup of coffee, get a glass of wine, pour yourself a Coca-Cola, enjoy sitting down. It is entertaining. You don't have to have a computer. Just watch the show. It is in English, and that will provide an understanding of how processors and memory and storage and computers and basic networking, all of those things, they will give you a foundation that is so important. And then we can start together and start building up that education, that knowledge of what you need for IT as a field. That's the basic computing. This is where we're starting IT. Welcome to Sam IT's program in IT Fundamentals. Let's get started.